Unpopular vote, millennials don't suck, or millennials are not spoiled. Now, I was born in the mid 80s, so I'm part of the most hated generation on the planet. Millennials. That is until the last generation, Gen X and the one before that, baby boomers. It's a proud American tradition to think the generation after you sucks completely. Just think about the baby boomers, right? When they were becoming the campus radicals and the hippie movement, just imagine how insufferable that was to the greatest generation. Be like, okay, we started in the Great Depression, but please tell us more about how hard your life is. We fought Hitler in World War II, but please tell us more about how you're fighting oppression and toppling the patriarchy and fighting fascism. Be like, we're burning our bras for freedom. You don't understand freedom. Be like, oh no, when I was fighting in World War II, when I was fighting, the Nazis, no, I don't understand freedom at all. Please tell me more about that. So that must have been insufferable for them to be lectured to by these punk kids, or the same way that baby boomers are now fine, but millennials really insufferable, even though they created that movement. Their generation spawned Gen X, spawned millennials, but they don't see it that way. The greatest generation, oh, my son, he's a hippie now, he's got hair down to his butt crack, he thinks he's a girl. The same son that they're talking about is now a Tea Party member being like, my son literally thinks he's a girl. Fred thinks he's Frederica. He's going by Frederica now, so I don't understand what this is all about. The hippies and the radicals that were going to take us to a post-racial utopia and all this shit, they became the yuppies, they became the Tea Party, right? Gen X, who was going to do the same thing, they became the alt-right. I'm sure the millennials, they're going to become the neo-war party hawks, or I don't know what they're going to do or whatever, but that's usually how it goes. It's not that the majority of a generation is that liberal when they're young, it's just that those are the loudest voices. Then they get older, they get a little bit of money, maybe they get scared about changing times or whatever it is. Like right now, yeah, I'm liberal on all the social issues, but in 20 years, Generation Z or AA battery or whatever it is, they're gonna be like, why can't we have sex with robots? Why can't we marry robots? They might be up for something that I'm not really for right now. And I don't understand what it is to be a robosexual or transhuman or, transracial. That's going to be a big thing. I think Rachel Dolezal, I think she started something with this transracial movement. You're going to find an Asian kid who's like, why can't I be black? I was really born black. You don't understand what I'm going through, And all that stuff's going to happen. And we may not see it that way. So we might be the new conservatives in a few years. The biggest point really that I'm trying to make is this idea that millennials are spoiled, which I hate. Because actually, I sometimes call us the Degeneration Generation, because we're the first generation in American history that's going to be less wealthy than our parents, that's going to be less educated than our parents, and that's going to live less long. Break that down exactly. When it comes to longevity of life, they're saying that because millennials are so fat and obese and don't get enough exercise and just our lifestyles, like, too much technology and Uber everywhere and all this shit or whatever it is, TaskRabbit, hire somebody to come wash your dishes, which is usually going to be a millennial. But because of that, heart disease and diabetes and all these different things are on the rise, which means that we probably won't live as long as baby boomers. Pollution's another big factor for that, by the way. Then you got the money thing. Well, there's no question that we don't make as much money as our parents did when they were getting out of college, if you adjust for inflation and all that stuff. Sometimes even if you don't adjust for inflation, they're not making as much money because the contract economy that they created has driven wages down to the fucking basement. Now, but millennials are so spoiled, they don't want to be my unpaid intern for 5 years. Yeah, no fucking kidding. Like, people work a job to get paid. Like, that having an unpaid internship at 25 years old or after college is outrageous. Which brings us to education. Now that student loans and, college tuition, all that shit's sky high, you've actually got less millennials graduating with a college degree. They simply can't afford it. So you've got a high dropout rate where people are the worst of both worlds. They don't have the diploma, but they've also accumulated six-figure debt to even try to get that diploma. Even when they do get out, it's like, yes, I got 150 grand in debt, but don't worry, I'm going to be a zoologist or some major that they can just barely even use. Now, people think, well, millennials bring that on themselves, but we really don't. Baby boomers control the financial system. So this idea that just because you want a job that pays money and, benefits and health insurance and all this shit that baby boomers have always had. Oh, we want Social Security to be there by the time we get older. It would just be just like baby boomers to burn that shit down the second that they can't use it anymore. Be like, okay, no more Social Security for people under the age of 55. It would be just like them to do that shit. But they're making the rules and we're living by them, and the contractor economy and all the workplace protections that protected them, they're not there for temporary hires, which is what everybody's going to now. Now, I really think that all these reasons and more shows that baby boomers are not quite as spoiled as you might think, just because they've got apps and just because they go on campuses and just because they're obnoxious. The only thing that's really different is reality shows and social media, and that kind of warped our thinking on a few things and really kind of made us seem more obnoxious than we really are. And I might get to that in a different video.